All right. I'll call to order the Board of Library Trustees regular meeting for Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. Trustee Fasano, would you call the roll?
Yes. Milano. Here. Deitchman.
Here.
Ford. Here. Hubbard. Here. Larson. Here. Russo.
Here.
Sano. Here.
Thank you, Mary Ann. And Trustee Deitchman, did you do the pledge?
Sure. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, number 4 on our agenda is comments from the audience. Would anyone here or online like to speak to the board tonight? No one online? Okay. With no one indicating they want to speak, we'll move on to number 5, which is approval of the agenda.
I move to approve tonight's agenda with no changes.
Second that motion? You go. There you go.
Motion by Trustee Larson and a second by Trustee Fasano. Any discussion? Then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, and the agenda is approved. Number 6, we have 2 items on the consent agenda. The minutes for September 19th, 2023, the regular board meeting minutes, and the September 2023 expenditure report. I will note that there was just a small correction. Trustee Larson chaired that meeting, so Joe has
On
that.
page 23, under call to order roll call, we just need to replace President Russo with Vice President Larson.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda or make any other changes?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Trustee Ford
I will second.
and a second by Trustee Collada. Any discussion? All in, a roll call vote?
Sure.
Mary Ann?
Milano.
Aye.
Deitchman.
Aye.
Ford. Aye. Hubbard. Aye. Larson.
Aye.
Russo.
Aye.
Sano. Aye.
And that's approved then. Number 7, the auditor's presentation of the fiscal year 23 audit.
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Don Shaw. I'm with Weyerbacher and Heyman, the principal there. As a proud Batavia resident, I'm excited to be presenting here tonight the 2023 audit. I first would like to thank Joe and the entire staff for all their help in making this a successful audit year. Without all the efforts, this would not be possible, so thank you. Next, I'm going to go through the annual financial report with you, which is the thicker of the package you received. And if you turn to page 1, you'll find our Weyerbacher name and letterhead. This is our independent audit report in which we provide a clean, unmodified opinion. It's the highest opinion you can receive. It basically states that we found no issues with internal controls or the numbers as they are presented. If you flip about 3 more pages, you'll run into the management discussion and analysis. And this really provides a summary of how the year performed in narrative form. So if you have questions on fluctuations from year to year, or what the numbers truly mean, this is where you want to go to find those answers. Your individual fund financial statements will begin on page 18, and it starts off with your balance sheet. On the far right column towards the bottom of page 18, you'll notice that the total ending fund balance for the library as a whole is at $5.4 million. 69% of this, or $3.7 million, is related to your capital projects fund. To see how these funds performed in the current year, we can skip ahead to what would be your income statement, which is on page 20. About midway through the page, on page 20, you'll see that the general fund, which is your main operating fund, had an operating increase of about $1.1 million. This is primarily due to your revenues coming in higher than anticipated and your expenditures being below budget. This was offset by a transfer out to your capital projects fund, so your general fund was left with a net increase of $10,000. So it was a really good year for the library.
Can we just really quickly
Yeah.
pause there? So this is where we moved over $1 million into this special reserve, even over and above, what was the budgeted amount, 300,000?
About 300,000.
So we budgeted to move 300,000, we were able to move $1,080,000. So over 700,000 more than we budgeted.
With the intention of using it for capital improvements.
Right.
Yeah.
The notes of the financial statement will begin on page 22. And the notes really provide further detail into how we came up with the figures that we did with supporting schedules. Within there, you're going to find your long-term debt and your capital asset schedules. I'm not going to go through the notes with you tonight, so I'll have you skip ahead all the way to page 43. Page 43 is the start of your budgetary information, so if you want to see how a specific fund performed based on what was budgeted, this is where you want to go to find those comparisons. And you'll notice that towards the bottom line, you have the transfers of 1.8, which was over the 300,000 that was expected. Does anyone have any questions on the financial statements? If not, real quick, we did also provide a second document called the management letter. We did provide 2 current year recommendations. They're more of a heads up that these GASB pronouncements are coming down the pipeline in the next couple of years. We'll be working with Joe and the team on that implementation as they get implemented. So anyone have any questions?
The numbers that you received from Joe and his team, were those the numbers here? Did you have to make any journal entry or audit adjustments, or did you find any mistakes?
So as part of our audit, there's always some journal entries, but this was a really good year in the fact that we only had 1 journal entry, and that was for the transfer.
Okay.
So it was a really good year and very clean, so Joe made our lives a lot easier.
Thank you, Joe.
Any other questions? All right.
Higher interest rates help a lot, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, interest rates, yeah, that contribute to your revenues coming higher than anticipated, because luckily the economy is starting to do a little better than it has in the past. So yes, that was also another help for your interest income. All right, any other questions? All right, well, thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Karen.
Thanks very much.
So so now that the audit is, wants to, have you normally voted to accept or approve the audit in the past? Not every library does it.
I don't think that we.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm looking, I don't remember, this is already final, so I don't think we need to.
Okay. So we'll be submitting the audit to the county clerk, and it will also be posted, a digital version will be posted on our website, because it is public information.
And that's why we file it with the clerk, is just public information, or do they
It's a
actually,
requirement.
do they actually do something with it, or it's just they receive it?
That's asking an awful lot. Okay.
I know, but they take it, they say thank you. I didn't know if they posted it as well or anything like that.
I don't know, Joe, do you know if you can access our audits on the county clerk's website? Because they don't do anything really digitally, I don't think.
You know what, I honestly don't know what the county does.
Okay.
As soon as I leave this
They need to
meeting,
have
I
a
get-
record of it, but I don't think they post it. I think it's up to the institution to post it.
Okay.
It'll be on our website as soon as the meeting is done.
Do we
Well,
need to
fine.
vote to accept it, or is this final, right? Do we need to make a motion or a vote to accept the audit? I don't think we've
I
ever,
don't know what we've done in the past.
I mean, it's finalized, so I don't think,
Right.
I didn't think we did, but I just wanted to double check with you if we.
Out of curiosity, do we get a lot of people looking at it on the website?
I have no, it's hard to say.
I was hoping everybody did.
Everybody did, to your hard work.
All of Joe's hard work.
Every night. At least 20,000 views.
In the world of dry documents, this is almost up there with tax documents, to be honest with you. I mean, the amount of detail that's in an audit report that is required by all these pronouncements that we really don't use. For example, we have to record IMRF, we record assets depreciation. We just do that at the end of the year in the financials, but that's how it makes them appear, in their whole. The bulk of it just pertains to the, basically the working budget and how we track that, so.
Well, Joe, I know you saw everyone nodding, but again, I'll just say, how wonderful it is to get these clean audits every year, and they just say it's perfect, so that's really
That's all
nice to
to you,
hear.
Joe. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, no, there are a lot of other people that pitch in too, so. Thank you.
And speaking of finances, number 9 is the financial report.
Yes, what page is it? Let's see.
33.
33. So it's pretty routine. And this shows you our working budget, where we are as of the end of September. And there weren't any big surprises in September that I can think of. No surprise problems or projects. So it's pretty straightforward. And as you can see, so in the third column under year-to-date, and then it says 9/30, so that is the percentage that was used so far, correct, Joe? Yes.
Correct.
So you can see that we've already received almost 88%, well, about 88% of our tax revenues. Now, when I was in Cook County, that was not the case. Not at all. Especially, I mean, we're not even halfway through the fiscal year, and sometimes we would receive like maybe $10,000, $20,000 in the first, well, during COVID, this year or two ago, we received like 1/8 of what we were supposed to already 6 months into the fiscal year. And then we didn't receive the rest until almost the end of the fiscal year. And we were warned that that was going to happen in Cook County, but libraries that didn't have any reserves whatsoever had to take out loans in order to cover their costs. Luckily, Lincolnwood was not one of those libraries. They had a healthy reserve, so we were able to float until that money started to come in. But it was scary for some smaller libraries especially.
You should not say anything too loud, you might give King County an idea.
No, it's, so it's really, it's wonderful and impressive that, that we have so already 88%.
And it's a nice
as of
reminder of
September.
why we need a reserve.
Yeah.
Always be ready.
Right, exactly, because you never know what could happen. And then, of course, Joe always has this, the far right is to compare it to the year before. So it's pretty much, it's very similar to the year before. There's not any big surprises or changes really, except for our interest income going up a lot. So that's it. Are there any questions about the working budget for September? If you ever have questions about this, you can certainly email me, and I will ask Joe. So, I mean, I don't really have, unless you have anything else you want to add, Joe, that's pretty much it. We're right where we need to be. So, that's it.
Okay. Number 10 is comments from the board and president's report.
Principal library. They had their book sale last Saturday, and it raised $1,156. And they had the Wednesday sale. I don't have the totals on that. But they are about 30,000 in their checking account. They're waiting for a list, and hopefully that'll.
We are assembling that list. We will be sending it before the end of the week.
Oh, so they'll have it for their meeting.
Yeah, no, we've already got the things, we just have to formally put it into one document and send it.
Awesome. I just love seeing the list.
I think, and that, the idea being that this is a list that we may make another request anywhere for, in the future.
Right.
This is for now.
And you had said that at the meeting, that, things come, as they come up, and they have money coming in, and things can be addressed, so that's good. I have to say the shelf, I love it. Walking in, that cart is gone, I'm so happy about that,
Yeah.
so thank you for doing that, it's great.
Thanks to Kathy, and I think Felix installed it. Yeah, it looks much better.
Oh, it's wonderful.
And the shelf is for picking up.
Yeah, it's for curbside.
Good job.
Thank you, Christy. Any other comments from the board?
I have a comment. One of my book clubs is 21 retired teachers from Storm School. And we've had a pretty close relationship with Joanne for many, many years. And I know she'll be sorely missed. Everyone was incredibly sad to hear that you're actually retiring. So we have done a donation to Born to Read, but it is in Joanne's honor.
Oh,
So thank you
nice.
for all your years of showing up in the schools and spoiling the teachers and the kids.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine.
Nice.
Anyone else?
Yeah, the Mother's Club wants to thank the library again for being a drop-off spot for the Coke Drive. The library has always been the biggest drop-off location. We've already emptied the bin a couple of times since Wednesday. So we got another week of the Coke Drive still to go.
When does that go through?
Goes through a week from tomorrow, next Wednesday. And then the donations are split between Chipin, the school district, where they work with the schools to put coats into the elementary, middle, and high school, and then the rest goes to the Batavia Clothes Closet.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Any other comments? Well, I have just one this evening. I have just a quick quote from Neil Gaiman. And he says, librarians are the coolest people out there doing the hardest job out there on the front lines. And every time I get to encounter or work with librarians, I am always impressed by their sheer awesomeness. And we will miss you, Stacy. Thank you. With that, director and librarians reports.
So, we've done the auditor's report, bomb threat update. They believe that they have made an arrest on the individual responsible for all of those fake bomb threats that were targeting public schools, public buildings, and libraries. They've only, last time I checked, as of when this went out to you on Friday, that they had only tied him to 2 bomb threats at Aurora, because he was Aurora police made the arrest. He's a Skokie resident, apparently. But they are looking to tie him to see if there's a tie to the other threats that are out there. And the police contacted me, the Batavia police contacted me to let me know that they had found that they'd made an arrest, but I'd already heard it through the library grapevine, because no one's faster than a librarian when it comes to sharing information. So I shared that with the board and the staff, and as there's new developments that I am privy to, I will share them with everyone. So, and then we had, as everyone knows, we had an incident, I guess it's a week ago yesterday, where we had two individuals enter the library. I was not here. Usually we have we're very few staff in the evenings, maybe 2 to 3 on a service desk, a few in the behind the scenes, and then we always have a PIC, a person in charge. But there were two individuals who entered the library, I want to say around 6:45, 6:50 p.m. It's my understanding they were dressed in some kind of, at least one of them was dressed in tactical gear, and they had full face masks on, you couldn't see their eyes. And one of them had a sign that said press. And I'm not sure if both or just one was holding, I believe, their phones to record. So it's a classic First Amendment audit, except the whole face mask thing, I've never seen or heard about anything quite to that extreme. And I think that was the most unsettling part of the incident. They were in and out of the library in less than 30 minutes. The PIC at the time assessed the situation, she approached them, asked if they needed any help, and they refused to speak to her. So she tried again, they still refused to engage, so she backed off and just kind of watched them from a distance and monitored the situation, and was familiar enough with this trend of First Amendment audits where she felt that it was best to ignore them or just treat them like any other patron. And so she did not choose to call the police, and they left because there was no incident whatsoever while they were here. However, it was still extremely unsettling for the staff to have two individuals dressed they had gloves on, full hoods, you could not see any skin. So that's very unsettling. And there's some of the staff felt that the police should have been called, and some of the staff feel no, because that's exactly what First Amendment auditors want you to do. And so, so I have been communicating with the staff about what happened, what the police have been telling me, because I've spoken to 3 or 4 different police officers, including the chief of police of Batavia. And the bottom line is, it's a judgment call when you see something like this. Because what might feel threatening to me may not necessarily feel threatening to you. And but I've also, in my emails, which I shared part of those with you in the board report, that I told the staff, whenever anyone who would feel physically or threatened in any way, of course they have the right to call the police. Because just if the PIC made that decision not to call the police, but you feel like your life is in danger or you feel threatened, then you can still call the police. It's not that the PIC is the only one who can call the police. So what we're going to do is, in addition to continued communication about this, as we get more information or we get more suggestions on training, we're going to have an all-staff meeting. We were supposed to have one in November, but we moved it up, and we're going to have it on Friday at 8 a.m. We have a police officer who's going to be coming and speaking on answering questions and speaking to the staff about this incident and just how to handle these unnerving things if they were to happen again in the future. And just provide as much information as we can to the staff. So the staff have been told that they can submit questions in advance, which I will send to the police officer after this meeting. And it's Detective LaBarbera, who I think we've talked with before. He's going to be coming and talking to the staff, and he wanted the questions in advance so he could prepare as possible. So we have about 15 questions that we're going to submit. They can still ask questions during the session, even if they didn't submit them in advance. And we're going to record this So we will be able to share it with any staff. I would like to require that any staff that were not able to attend this special meeting would watch it on their, when they can, next time they're in the building. And I would like to share it with the board so they can also see what the police officer has to say about this. But it also brings to light that we need to address, well, first of all, this did not make it in the packet, but this is a handout that I am going to be giving to all of the staff at our meeting on Friday, which was put together by Ansel Glink, which is a law firm that specializes in government agencies and all things with public bodies. And so they put together this little handout about First Amendment audits. So I want to just point out a few things. Because I think there's a lot of confusion about what these individuals are legally allowed to do. And unfortunately, they're allowed to do a lot. It is not illegal for members of the public, I'm down at the bottom of the page. It is not illegal for members of the public to record their activities and encounters in public spaces during their workday. So anyone can come in and video record staff while they're working. That is their legal right. However, if a staff person is uncomfortable with that, they could leave the area, they could, ask for backup so that they can depart if they're not comfortable being videotaped. But it is legally the other person's right to do that. It's uncomfortable, but we are public servants, and that comes with the job. So it's unfortunately the way it is. However, and they legally can yell obscenities at us, they can be extremely confrontational verbally. They legally can do that, but library policy, which we really need to update, is what protects the staff against behavior of individuals in the library. So even if legally they can assault us verbally, if our policy clearly indicates that we will not tolerate abusive language or any kind of threatening manner, because then our policy protects us and then we can call the police or we can ask them to leave or whatever. But without that, they can do whatever they want. And our policy, unfortunately, we need to update that, and I plan to have a draft at our COW meeting on November 9th that I will put together between now and then that's going to really address all of the types of behavior that is unacceptable in the library. So that is my plan. So we have to have policy in place. We have to have training for the staff, which we're going to start on Friday. And another thing that we need to do is get security cameras in this building. I was thinking that we would wait and do that when we do the remodel. I don't think we should wait. So we're going to start investigating companies, doing an RFP and getting some quotes, because we want to have a system that we can install, that we can build on after we remodel if necessary, but we need to have something in place as soon as possible. And it does take time, RFPs take time. Nothing is going to happen overnight, and it'll probably be kind of expensive, but I'll present you with the information as it becomes available. Does staff have anything they want to add to any of this that they can think of? I think I've covered most of it.
Do we know if they've published any of what they videoed last week?
So these two individuals apparently were in other parts of Batavia, and it's my understanding from the police officer that I spoke with that they were, I don't know where they were out in the public somewhere in Batavia. I don't know if it was downtown Batavia or what, but an individual, not a business, but I believe a homeowner individual, saw them and called the police. And the police went and spoke to these two gentlemen, kind of like we did here, and they wouldn't speak. They would not engage with the police because they're waiting to see what the police are going to do. And the police said, okay, they're not doing anything illegal, so they just left them alone because that's all they could do. And that's, but they did post, if it's the same people, there's, does anybody else remember the name of this group? It was like Tyrant, what? Do you remember what it was, Lisa?
Yeah, hold on just a second.
There's this, we think it might be this group, and they've given themselves a unique name, but they're so First Amendment audit can really make itself, it can appear in many formats. I've never seen anybody with a mask doing, I mean, I've only had one First Amendment audit besides this one, and they certainly weren't wearing tactical gear or masks. But the whole point is to intimidate and provoke public government, public agencies to react. And then they can take that filming, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube about really bad interactions with public bodies and First Amendment auditors, and that's what you don't want. You don't want to engage in any way with them except treat them like any other patron. Because as soon as you call the police will be, well, I can't do anything, this is their right. And the fact that they were wearing masks, that's the most unsettling thing that happened. I mean, it's no fun to be video recorded at work, but I think if they hadn't been wearing masks, we wouldn't have been going through, you know, all of this hubbubaloo. But they were not armed, they were not physically threatening, the masks was part of their plan to be intimidating and provoke staff. Which is why I was not here. If I'd been here, I don't know, maybe I would have called the police, maybe I wouldn't, I can't say. But the PIC who was here did not call the police, and I felt that, you know, I supported her decision because it was a total, nothing happened. But if somebody had called the police, I would have supported that as well, because it's their right to do that if they feel threatened. So.
It's very impressive that they did not engage with them and that they did follow that even with lack of kind of discussion about it and lack of training or talking about it recently.
Right.
It's very impressive of the staff.
Yeah.
That would be very hard to do.
Yeah, because that's, I think, when any kind of an emergency situation or an uncomfortable situation or anything like this happens, the worst thing you can do is panic. And so this particular staff person was extremely calm and collected and did the best that they could, given that this was a very unique and unprecedented experience. So, you know, I give her credit for keeping her cool. One other thing that we're going to start, that we want to get all of the staff to start using is a chat feature that we have through Teams, which is part of Office 3, whatever. And so what that means is that we can we can communicate immediately with each other in the event of an emergency. You know, or in just something weird's happening, or, you know, so that the CERC staff could send a chat to YS and let them know, hey, you know, this odd person is coming in and keep an eye out, or whatever. Whatever that communication is would be immediate and would be discreet. So we've started using it, the management team has started using it this week, and it's just, you know, it's like texting somebody, but it pops up on your computer. So we have to work out some bumps to make sure that everyone has access to it. You know, if they don't have their own personal desk, that, you know, it pops up on all the service desks, et cetera, et cetera. And make sure that we train staff in how to use it. So we're hoping that that will help as well.
I think it's wise to have something that's not a verbal,
Right.
you know, saying it out loud, because that can set people off. So I think having something, whether it's messaging or email or something that can be done discreetly at a desk is important.
At Lincolnwood, we had it worked, because we also used a chat feature through Google, and we had, you know, it's like you come up with a code. You know, like we were doing active shooter training. And so we discussed how are we going to alert each other, you know, because you can't like make an announcement over the intercom. So, you know, we did several tests. This is a test, there is a shooter, you know, and so we worked out so everyone would be aware of what message would look like if we had a situation like that. And I know we've had active shooter training here in the past. But another thing I wanted to bring up is we only have one staff development day a year, and that's not enough. We need to have quarterly staff development days. I would propose we do half days, but we could easily fill a whole day, once a year at least, and then have 3 half days. It would require closing the library, but I think there is a lot of training that we need to do in this present day, that you can't just do it once and you're done. You have to keep reviewing it, you get new staff, you have to do it with them.
Absolutely.
And one of the best things about these staff development days is it brings as many of your staff as you can together. Because what I want to see, and I think the staff, they do work together very well, but in a crisis like this, I want us to be as solid as a whole unit as possible. And I don't think that we saw that the way we would like to on Monday night. But we need to support each other and work as a team to make sure we're all safe. And so I think we need to do staff development days more frequently, just once a quarter. And that would replace some of these all-staff meetings, which is, we do it from 8 to 9 before the library's open. But it's an hour.
Too short.
Yeah, you can't get anything done, so. But it's nice because you bring all the different departments together, and that's another really great way to build a team, is doing training and just chances to interact and communicate with each other face to face. So that's what I would like to start doing. After we have when's our next, in November? No, yes. Lisa, staff development
November
days?
16th,
No, that's an all-staff meeting,
Oh.
right?
the next staff development day would be next August.
Yeah, so I would love to do one we just had one in August, so we did one, and we could do one in November or December, and just do them every 3 months.
So, were they filming?
Yes, but they didn't post anything. There was nothing to post.
Can we come up with a dress code that only masks, like face masks?
If we did that, we need to talk to our attorney about that, because my fear is if we did something about head coverings and things, then we could be
It's complicated
accused of
real
being
fast.
discriminatory against different cultural groups and religious groups. So that is a question for an attorney, I think.
Was everyone on the staff aware of this horrible cultural phenomenon, this group? Because to be completely honest, I had never heard anything at all about them. And I've now talked since with my son-in-law, who's a firefighter. They've had training at his station, and I didn't know anything. Were all the librarians on duty that day aware of?
Well, it seems that a lot of people don't know about them, and I did not realize that. Where I was in Lincolnwood, we all knew about it, but
Right.
we also talked about, experienced it, but I don't think that has ever come up in the past here, but now it has. I mean, it was a uncomfortable, scary situation, but it is an excellent learning experience, because it's telling us what we need to do to be safer and to come together and work together to move forward. So, that's what we have to seize this moment. I don't see it as, oh, we didn't do this, we didn't do that, we should have done this. No.
No.
But it brought to our attention some holes, some things that we can address and make better, and that's what we're gonna do.
According to something I read, it said that they have the right to carry guns, and
If it's legal.
But
Yeah.
we don't
It's
allow
not-
it
We
in the
have-
building, so.
We
Pardon
have
me?
a,
We don't
We
allow
don't
it.
have.
So
we
there-
have signs on the doors that, against concealed weapons.
okay,
We did have, it's my understanding, I don't know when this happened, but it's my understanding that in the past, we've had a visitor that was down in the YS department who was picking up their child or with their child, and they had a concealed weapon. And the staff, correct me if I'm wrong, were the police called?
We did not call the police, but the patron called the police.
Who
And so-
alerted us to the
Yes.
gun? Okay. So the police showed up, but it was an off-duty police officer. So,
The person toting the gun was off-duty police?
and I
Oh,
think,
golly.
I could be wrong, we can ask Officer LaBarbera on Friday, but I thought off-duty police officers are required to carry their gun. So we couldn't have asked him to take it off even if we wanted to. So, but then a staff person doesn't know that they're an
Right.
off-duty police officer. I mean, if I saw somebody with a gun, I'd be like, whoa, and I would be calling 911. So unfortunately, I
But
don't,
I would imagine an off-duty police officer would be aware of how it is
It was
perceived.
covered, and when he moved,
yeah, I think he was bending
They caught
over
it,
and then it
yeah.
exposed it.
No, but I mean that they would be, one of the people that when approached would explain and, you know, would be accepting of the situation.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. I'm sure it's not the first time where people have freaked out seeing his weapon.
I think it's a really smart, proactive action to update the conduct
behavior,
policy.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So next, so when we have the COW meeting on the 9th, we're gonna have two policies for you to review and then vote on at the November 24th meeting. One is gonna be our collection development policy, which will include our reconsideration for request form. And the other will be our behavior policy for you to review. This was Stacy and Joanne swan song when it comes to policy, because they, the three of us worked really hard on getting that collection development policy. And I was telling Stacy this today, I was like, I'm really sad that you're leaving because it was kind of fun to write that policy with you. I mean, the three of us just worked really well together doing that, so I'm gonna miss that.
Joe, you did a great overview. One thing that I don't think you mentioned is that people actually then post these videos online to make money from them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's to make, yeah, it can be to make money, or it can be to stir up trouble, or it could be just, you know, they're
Just
with
because
some
I want to get
organization.
hits and I want a million followers.
But that's what I was asking, so we don't know of any posts?
Not from the library, no.
Not the.
From what
But
they
we
recorded
think, if it's the same people, they posted something that happened, was it at the, where was
I
that? At
am sending the link to your emails
Okay.
right now.
Was it the police department or something?
King County Sheriff.
King County Sheriff's Office.
Oh my God.
And they were videotaping while they were at the sheriff's office. We think it's the same people that were here at the library. But they did not, because there was nothing. I mean, it went so quietly, which is, I mean, the masks, I think, were the most difficult part. If they hadn't been wearing masks, it would have been a very different experience for the staff. But they were not breaking the law while they were here. And I can understand how stressful that was for the folks that were here on that day. And it's hard to tell people, well, they didn't break the law. Because you don't want the staff to think, well, we don't support we don't acknowledge your fear or your, uncomfortable feelings about this whole situation. Of course, I totally get it. I would be like, whoa, but that's the thing about the First Amendment, is it is a double-edged sword, because not only does it protect us, but it also makes us feel unsafe
It's the whole.
when it's wielded badly.
I may not agree with what you say, but you have the right to say it.
Right. And I think it's the sign of the times. Okay, any questions or? Thank you. Well, it's a team effort. I mean, management team and I, we spent like 3 hours talking about this on Thursday. And, it takes time to be able to even to respond to this with the staff, because you got to put things into play, and, you got to work things out. And plus, it took a while just to really understand what happened. And after talking to the police, it took a while to get back, have them get back to me, so it's just, it's a difficult situation, and I think we're doing the best we can, and I think we're doing a good job. So I want to thank management team for helping me navigate all of this.
On a separate note, can you give us, or are you ready to give us an update on staffing and how the search for new staff is going? Or do you want to save that until you have no more information? I don't want to jump the gun.
All I can say is that we have, the interviews are ongoing. That
Okay.
was another thing, is we had, this was all happening, and we're like in interview mode several times during the week. So we still have a few more interviews to do, and I'll have an update at the Cal meeting for sure.
Sure, okay.
I think if we talk about this in any more detail, because we do have internal candidates, we may have to go into closed session to discuss it.
Great.
Okay, any other questions about the incident on whatever that was, Monday of last week? Sorry, go ahead.
I did sense from the board support for the additional staff development days. Do you need any time? Do you need anything from us
Well,
at
I
this
think,
time?
because we'll have to close, so you'll have to approve that, I think, right? Won't you have to approve having the, okay, so.
But people are in agreement
Yes,
that
sure,
would be very
yes.
well spent.
Absolutely.
Well, once we have our first date, for another half-day staff development day, I will let you know so that you can then formally approve closing the library for half the day. And we'll have a tentative schedule. Now the pressure's on, we gotta start planning. And Joanne is leaving, and she did them. She did them in the past.
Lock the door.
Okay.
Do it remotely.
All right, so, new computer update. Andrew's been working diligently to get the staff computers up and running, which they are. Everyone is thrilled. He is now known as the rock star of Batavia Public Library. He can do no wrong.
Everybody's been very kind about it. So all the staff computers are done. I am starting to work on the configuration and deployment of the patron computers, and that'll happen in the next couple of weeks, or it'll begin in the next couple of weeks amidst everything else that we're working on.
Yes. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, it's been great. We started, when we were doing the policies, all of a sudden we realized that we could have our laptops in here and be working on it while we were meeting, it's a game changer. And eventually I would like all the full-time staff to have, when we do another upgrade, whenever that is, years from now, a couple of years from now, all of the full-time staff that work in the, we would have to figure it out, but have laptops for more staff. So. But right now, we're really happy with what we have. Okay, Library Leader Award reception. Woo! Joanne, our wonderful Joanne, is going to be on Sunday, November 5th from 2 to 4. And that is, we've sent out invitations, I believe, already.
Yeah, already.
So, and any staff or who would like to come, we certainly would love to see everybody there as we congratulate Joanne on this.
Is she going to be planning her own party, because she's done a lot of the previous ones?
She's going to want to, but we're not going to let her. You never know.
No, Carrie and Kristen are doing a fabulous job.
Yes, they are. So, let's see what else. Text service. Oh, so, actually, I'm sorry, Carrie, just wait 1 second, because I need to just go over what we're going to do at the next board meeting.
That's fine.
Okay, sorry. So Kathy Mocher had a few things in here. The irrigation system has been turned off for the season. The snow removal contract has been signed. Meeting room reservations have been in high demand this fall. It must be that new policy. And Felix installed the curbside pickup shelf, which we all love. We are renewing our insurance, and it is about a 10% increase from the previous year. We received another quote to switch over to Hanover, but we want to stay with Utica just for consistency's sake, and the coverage is just slightly different, but it's like a couple of $1,000s more. So that 10% sounds scary, but it's not a huge amount of money. Okay, so we have a new employee at Circulation Clerk, Kristen Streepy, who joined us recently. And then we have several, oh, Joe McCain's on here, 8 years. Nancy Kruk-Elkin in Tech Services, 11 years. Alice Dubois in CERC, 4 years. Kathy, 13 years. And Stacy, before she leaves, she's getting her 22 years. Okay, so next month, we've got a busy, busy, busy month. Thursday at the Cal meeting, 2 policies for you to review. And then remember, we're going to do how long did you say it was, like 45 minutes, that video? So it's about a 45-minute video available through Rails, and it's the same woman who we were thinking about having come out and spending $4,000. But this, you can see it for free because Joe had already registered and attended this webinar in the past, and I'm sorry, Joe, that's Daniel. Right. And so that we are now able to share it with all of you. So we'll be doing that following the Cal meeting. We don't have to adjourn, we'll just go straight into it. It's still considered a part of the board meeting. Okay.
We'll have dinner?
Yes.
Some kind of.
We will have sustenance. And
not just cookies.
Yeah, right. Okay, so then Tuesday, because we are required to do a TITA hearing, so that will be on for like we did with the budget appropriation here. Yes.
TITA?
TITA?
Which is?
Oh, Truth in Taxation Act.
Thank you.
Sorry. I was like, am I saying something offensive? Yes, so we are required to hold a hearing, Truth in Taxation Act hearing, before you approve the levy. Okay. And so that will be 5-10 minutes at 6:30, and then the regular board meeting will immediately follow. It'll be very much like we did for the budget appropriation hearing. And then at that meeting, you're going to approve the ordinance for the levy, approve hopefully 2 policies. And it's also every 6 months, the board needs to review and approve closed session minutes. So it will require us to go into closed session. You will be approving minutes from the last 6 months. And then you will also be making a determination about recordings of closed session minutes from the that are older than 18 months. It'll all be written out, it'll be in your board packet. And what I will do is the actual closed session minutes, because they are closed and confidential, they will be assembled as a separate packet, and I'll have them in envelopes. Because you need time to be able to look at them before the meeting so that you can approve them. So those will be available at the circulation desk. I will not be emailing them to you. So please make sure you pick them up before the meeting. And then, in fact, I can even have those earlier than the board packets because they're already done. And then you will turn them into me to be shredded after the regular board meeting.
Can you email us to remind us to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, they're there now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the only reason because most of them deal with personnel, and so that's, we want to protect the privacy of whatever is in those minutes, and so that's why they're closed. So, and we're switching to digital recording. No tape recorder, no cassette tapes. So then when we record those closed session minutes on this lovely little tiny recorder that is smaller than my phone, and wow. And then what you do is you upload it onto your computer, and then I will transfer it onto a, what do you call it?
Zip drive?
flash drive, thank you, I was gonna say zip drive, and I knew that was wrong. Then I'll put it on a flash drive with the date of the closed session meeting, and instead of the cassette tapes, they'll be, all of those meetings will be on flash drives. And then, when they are ready to be, whatever the board decides to destroy, whatever, we can just erase them and reuse those flash drives. So, we're getting fancy, we're entering the 21st century. Okay. And I really think, I think that's everything for November. It's gonna be busy, I apologize, but it's all very important stuff.
Are you gonna go back to Karen?
I'm sorry?
Karen?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Now we're gonna do our departmental reports, and Carrie wanted to talk to the board.
Have a moment.
She wanted her moment.
I just want to tell you about an exciting new thing we're doing. We've just started a partnership with Valley Sheltered Workshop, which is just right over here. Emily is coming for 2 hours a week. She's helping us withdraw magazines. She's doing a great job. It's similar to what we've done before with the high school special ed, the co-op program, is that what it's called? Where students would come and do the same thing, withdraw magazines. So it helps us a lot because we have all those old issues that need to go every year. So Emily is helping us with that.
Great.
I just want to remind you too, we have 2 volunteers in tech, long-term volunteers. Margot Cooper, who used to be a director, and then Sarah, who I talked to you about before when she's won medals at Special Olympics, and she would come with her service dog Jordan. They've both been coming for over 15 years. We just had a retirement party for Jordan, the service dog.
Oh.
Because Jordan's been with us the whole time Sarah's had her. So it was kind of sad, but it seems weird. But I just wanted to remind you guys that we do have these longtime volunteers who really are very important to our department. We just wouldn't be able to get everything done without them. So, the other thing I wanted to share with you is, and I know some of you are in book clubs, Mrs. Stacy got this started, but I'm the one who has to finish it. They love coming up with these things.
We do the fun part.
Right. Well, this is the book club kits. We had some in the past. We have 14 new ones. Most of them went out on Friday. We have a couple we're still waiting for the large print to come in. Most of the books, like for example, this is Lessons in Chemistry, which is a hot title still. Stacy told me that it's hard to get copies for book clubs because it's still so popular. So this is, people can come in, check out the bag. There are 7 copies of the book and a copy also of the large print in the bag. There are also discussion kits, like a little discussion questions that tells you something about the author. There's questions on the back, and it's all in here for someone to take. It's all right in here. We have, I think, 31 now.
31 kits.
31 book club kits. We had some before, 14 now, 14 new ones that are just coming out. I will warn you, if you come to get Demon Copperhead, eat your Wheaties because it's pretty heavy. That's a big book.
Barbara Kingsolver does like her words.
Yes, she does, but she's very good with them too.
Yeah,
So,
she's wonderful.
and I guess the other remarkably bright creatures. I saw it going out on the van. It's ready to go out on your library loan. So these are already popular. They just went out on Friday and they're already out there.
And where do you list the books that you have in each kit?
If you search the online catalog, just type in Batavia Book Club Kit or Batavia Book Club or
And
something
it'll
like
show which ones you
You'll
have
do the whole
available?
list. Or if you are interested, I happen to have a list I could pass around. I printed it out, so you could at least get a list of the titles.
You're getting your book club ready.
Well, there's popular titles, and that's why we've talked about even maybe next time instead of doing so many, because it's a lot of work, all the labeling and everything like that. Maybe just do a few every year. So, we can always, because people want the hot titles. And this is a way to get them easily. So, anybody have any questions? I'll just say, it's nice to see you all in person, because I'm going through the owls, so it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Well, I am glad to see that in my absence, someone else will bring show and tell once in a while.
I was thinking that, because you always have show and tell.
So Carrie, no pressure. Just be thinking about that. So there's just a few things I want to highlight from my report, and it's more of a commercial for BATV. We do have late night at the library coming up. It's our 3rd to 5th grade. Elizabeth, put that on your calendar. November 1st starts sign up. It's our 3rd to 5th grade after hours event, and that program always fills and is a lot of fun, and that will be my last day of work. So I'll be ending it with a bunch of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. So that'll be a lot of fun.
And usually some critters.
Some what?
Some critters.
Oh yeah, some critters. Well, I'm not sure if we have critters this year, but you never know.
The snakes were popular last time.
Bat Fest is another cooperative thing that we participate in. This year, there has been a change in Bat Fest. The lineup has changed. So instead of the Mothers Club Parade starting from here after story time, they're starting the event with the Mothers Club Parade this year down at the Riverwalk. So our story time will be at 10:45 instead of 11:30, but we'll still be out in the reading garden, weather permitting. But the friends who also come and give out treats during trick-or-treating will stay up here in the library lobby and do they usually have books they're giving away and trick-or-treating as well up here during the trick-or-treating hours, as well as selling their All Hallows Read coupons. This is the second year that we are partnering with Messenger Public Library to present a preschool fair. So preschools from Batavia and North Aurora have been invited to do kind of like a college fair, but it's all preschools. So it's a great opportunity for parents to come in. So if you know any parents of young children who might be looking for a preschool in the next few years, this is a great opportunity to them to see a number of schools and kind of get a flavor, a taste. It's kind of a taste of a preschool. Get a taste of the preschool, and then they can really whittle down and see where they want to do some visiting. Otherwise, there's a significant number of preschools in the area, and to kind of try to visit them all is difficult. So Amanda Vanderworth is hosting that with colleague from Messenger Public Library. Amy Marks is going to be hosting Holiday Stories at the Depot Museum this year. I won't be there. Maybe I'll be a participant, a member of the crowd this year. I've never been a member of the crowd before. It's on Sunday, November 26th. We'll be doing holiday readings at the Depot Museum. Kate Garrett's always very accommodating for us to be able to get in there in the Gustafson Research Center. So we are looking for at least one volunteer from the library board. So if you'd like to tell me today, Kathy Hubbard, that you Jenny did it last year.
It's fun.
So if you're interested, let me know, and Amy will be coordinating all of that. And hopefully I can say this without tearing up. It has always been my pleasure every month to share news from YS with all of you. New collections, things like this. I've always loved bringing show and tell, our engaging programs, new initiatives in YS. I'll really miss doing that. We have a great team in YS, and I'm sure they'll continue to provide excellent library services to our young Batavia patrons. But I cannot end my report without sending something around the table. So Stacy and I are sending for our last time. Stacy did not want to talk, but just a little thank you from the two of us to express our appreciation to each of you for all your kindness and support and leadership over the years as board members. We really do appreciate it, the staff here, and you can help yourself to even more than one. You can limit you, but no, today these are all about you and all for you. So thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure.
talk about some things, but I'm not going to talk about that.
Fair enough.
Okay.
That's fair.
All right. I want to talk first about book club kits. Number one, I wanted to mention these are per capita grant purchases. So this is something that doesn't come out of our regular budget. It is something we purchase with grant funds. So all 31 of them have been that way, including the bags. I also just wanted to thank everyone who is involved in the creation of these things. There are librarians and adult services who select the books, who create the guides. Facilities puts the grommets in that help us with the security. And Carrie is always game to catalog anything, including our 6 new umbrellas, which are very nicely humongous, available for checkout. And we're going to work on getting an umbrella stand to put near the checkout desk so that they're near kind of a point of purchase for people to check out on rainy days. So I just want to thank Carrie. She never blinks an eye when I say, hey, how about you catalog us some umbrellas? I also wanted to thank Andrew. I want to thank Lisa for getting the ball rolling, and Andrew for whatever, however you finish that metaphor. With our new patron software update, it has been the smoothest rollout of any software update we've ever done. And we have new software on Zeiss, which has increased security for people who are printing things, much greater ease for people using our remote printing, which is a lot of people. A lot of people do not have printers at home, or they have printers with dried up cartridges. Yeah. And we are their rescue place for those needs. And those things have gotten much, much easier. So in adult services, we've been doing training for our regular users and for the people who come in just occasionally to learn how to use those things. But the rollout was really, really smooth, and I'm really grateful for the support that we have from this team. And that's all I'm going to say about that, or things will happen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just, okay, now I have my play. So I just want to say, oh God, I don't know if I can do this. I've only been here 4 or 5 months, but it's been
Like an eternity?
Just in those 4 or 5 months, it's been a real pleasure and an honor to work with both of you. And I'm cursing you for not letting me have more opportunity to work with you. No, I do. I wish that we had more time to work together because I really have enjoyed it. So, but I wish you both the very best.
Well, we have gone through our agenda, and all we have left to do is adjourn, so I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Trustee Hubbard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.
Roller coaster of a meeting.